Harini. She could be the girl next door. The girl you might have passed by 100 times without noticing. But inside her heart, she carried storms no one could see. Life tested her, humiliated her, pushed her into darkness again and again. Yet she never allowed herself to break. Because she believed in one simple truth. Before a tree reaches the sky, it must first grow quietly beneath the soil. Darkness is not the end. It is where strength is born, with patience, with love, with compassion. Harini never fought the world with anger. She endured it with grace. One morning at 6 o'clock, the railway station was already alive with noise and movement. Passengers hurried across the platforms, vendors called out loudly, and the distant whistle of trains echoed through the air. Standing near the train compartment, Harini held her small suitcase while her parents stood beside her. Her mother, Gayatri, kept giving instructions in a trembling voice, trying hard to hide her emotions. Eat your meals on time. Dear, don't skip food. Sleep early and take care of your health. Don't get into unnecessary arguments with anyone, and if you ever need money or help, just call us immediately. Harini listened quietly. She nodded gently, but avoided looking at her mother. Because she knew one thing. If she looked into her mother's eyes even for a second, the tears she was holding back would fall. Prakash cleared his throat and spoke with forced lightness. Dear, don't spare this father today. I think I deserve the title of Villain of the Year. Before you get on that train, scold me as much as you want. Say everything that is in your heart. There was guilt hidden in his voice. Harini immediately shook her head. Dad, why would you say that? Her voice softened as she looked at him. Whatever decisions you have taken for me, you have always taken them for my happiness. I know that. She paused for a moment. Then she spoke slowly. You are not the villain of the year, Dad. You are the hero of my life. Prakash's eyes filled with tears the moment he heard those words. He gently stroked her head with affection, just like he used to when she was a little girl. At that moment, the announcement for the train echoed through the station. It was time. Harini hugged her mother tightly. The moment she felt that familiar warmth, the strength she had been holding inside suddenly broke. She burst into tears. Gayatri could not hold back either. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she kissed Harini on the forehead. Travel safely, dear, she whispered softly. Prakash helped her climb onto the train. As the train slowly began to move, Harini stood near the door and looked at her parents standing on the platform. They kept waving until they slowly disappeared from her sight. Only then did Harini quietly wipe the tears from her eyes. A new chapter of her life had begun. Hostel. When Harini reached the hostel, the warden looked at her kindly and asked, Oh, are you Harini? Prasad's daughter. Harini nodded politely. Yes, madam. The warden smiled gently. Your father called a few days ago. He spoke to me for quite some time and gave so many instructions about you. She chuckled softly. I could understand how much he cares about you. Harini lowered her eyes with a small smile. He sounded a little worried about sending you away from home, the warden continued warmly. But don't worry. You will be safe and comfortable here. She gestured toward the corridor. We'll talk more later. First go and settle down in your room. Then she asked, You didn't have any difficulty finding the address, did you? No, madam, Harini replied politely. I found it easily. Good, the warden said. Yashoda, please show her the room. The room was spacious and neatly arranged. After freshening up, Harini stepped inside. Another girl was arranging her belongings. She looked up and smiled warmly. Did you join today? Yes, Harini replied softly. I arrived this evening. Don't worry, the girl said kindly. Everyone feels homesick during the first few days. Slowly you will get used to it. She extended her hand. My name is Vaishnavi. I came here about 2 weeks ago. Harini smiled and shook her hand. I'm Harini. A new friendship had quietly begun. Are just the two of us staying in this room? Harini asked. No, Vaishnavi laughed. For more girls stay here. But today is Saturday. Everyone convinced the warden and went out for a movie and some shopping. I wasn't really in the mood, so I stayed back. Just then, The door opened. The other girls entered the room noisily, laughing and discussing the movie they had just watched. One of them suddenly noticed Harini. "Hey, who's this? Come here." Harini walked toward them shyly. "Did you just join the hostel?" one girl asked. "Yes," Harini said politely. "I joined today." "What's your name?" "My name is Harini." "Where are you from?" "I grew up in Chennai," she replied. "My father works in the Air Force as a wing commander. He was posted there for many years, so we settled there." One girl grinned mischievously. "Oh, Chennai?" She looked at the others dramatically. "Careful, guys. Looks like our room just got a Tamil representative." Everyone laughed. Harini smiled nervously but remained calm. "No, actually we are Telugu," she explained gently. "But since my father was posted in Chennai for a long time, I grew up there." "Oh, that makes sense," another girl said. "What did you come here to study?" "I came here to pursue my MBA," Harini replied. "I've always wanted to study management and build a good career." One girl leaned forward playfully. "Okay, serious question now. Do you have a boyfriend?" Harini blinked in surprise. "No, I don't." "At least someone must have proposed to you," another girl laughed. Before Harini could answer, Vaishnavi interrupted. "Hey, why are you teasing her like that? She just arrived today. Don't scare her." "Oh, please," another girl replied dramatically. "We are just talking." She turned back to Harini. "Okay, tell us honestly, how many boys have proposed to you?" Harini smiled shyly. "Honestly, no one has proposed to me so far." "What?" Shweta exclaimed. "You're so cute and no one has proposed to you yet?" Everyone stared at her in disbelief. Harini felt her cheeks grow warm. She lowered her gaze shyly, her innocent blush making her look even more charming. Shweta laughed and gently pinched her cheeks. "You are really very cute." Then she introduced herself. "I'm Shweta, and these troublemakers are my partners in crime." One by one, the girls introduced themselves. The room slowly filled with laughter, jokes, and friendly conversations. What began as playful teasing slowly turned into warmth. And little by little, Harini began to feel that maybe this strange new place could one day feel like home. Any night, around 12 o'clock, Harini suddenly woke up. The room was silent. The ceiling fan hummed softly in the darkness. She turned to her side and noticed Tripura sitting near the window, staring outside into the night. The moonlight faintly touched her face, but her eyes looked distant, troubled. Harini quietly got up and walked toward her. "Tripura, why are you still awake? You haven't slept yet?" she asked gently. "I don't know," Tripura replied in a low voice. "No matter how much I try, I just can't sleep. There's some kind of sadness inside me, a strange anxiety that won't let me rest." "Are you missing your family?" Harini asked innocently, sitting beside her. Tripura slowly shook her head. "Then what is it? What's making you feel this way?" Tripura didn't answer. She kept staring into the darkness, lost in her thoughts. Harini watched her for a moment and then spoke softly, her voice filled with concern. "How long will you keep carrying this pain alone? If you share what's in your heart, at least a little of the burden will become lighter. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I will. Why should you struggle all by yourself?" She gently placed her hand over Tripura's. "Tell me what's bothering you. Sometimes, just speaking about it makes it easier to breathe." Tripura looked at Harini's innocent, pure face. There was no judgment in her eyes, only warmth. For some reason, she felt safe. If I tell her, maybe this weight in my heart will reduce, she thought. Taking a deep breath, she began. "For the past 1 year, I've been in love with someone. Slowly, without even realizing it, I became very dependent on him. He became a part of my daily life, my thoughts, my happiness." Her voice trembled slightly. "At home, they've started searching for marriage alliances for me. They're saying that as soon as my studies are completed, I should get married. My course will be over in 6 months." She looked helpless. Tripura sat on the edge of the bed, slowly twisting the end of her dupatta. "I don't know how to tell my father about my love," she said after a moment. "He doesn't like things like love and romance at all. For him, marriage should only happen the traditional way, with the groom chosen by the family. She glanced at Harini and continued quietly. He believes a daughter should marry the man her father selects. Tripura sighed. But I can't imagine my life with anyone else. And if I marry him without telling my parents, I'm worried my father might react badly. She looked down for a moment. Right now I just feel stuck. I don't know what to do. Harini listened patiently, letting her finish. After a moment, she placed her hand gently over Tripura's. Tripura, she said in a calm voice, even if it feels like every door is closed, it doesn't mean it will stay that way. Tripura looked up at her. You still have time, Harini continued. 6 months is a long time. Situations can change. People can change too. She gave her a small, encouraging smile. So don't lose hope too quickly. And try not to think about it all the time. It will only make things harder for you. Harini stretched slightly and glanced at the clock. It's already late. We should try to sleep. Tripura shook her head. I'm not feeling sleepy. Then she asked quietly, will you sit with me for a little while? Harini smiled. Of course. I'm right here. There was a brief silence in the room. Then Harini decided to lighten the mood. So, tell me about him, she said with a small grin. What does your boyfriend do? Tripura finally smiled. He works as a project leader in Gempak. She took out her phone and opened a photo. Here, this is him. Harini leaned closer to look at the screen. For a moment she studied the face carefully. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Tripura thought for a second. Maybe. He used to work in an IT company in Chennai earlier. Since you grew up in Chennai, you might have seen him there. Harini nodded. That's possible. Then she looked back at Tripura with curiosity. You still haven't told me his name. Tripura glanced at the photo again before answering softly. Prakash. The two girls continued talking quietly for some time before the room finally fell silent for the night. It's already 1 o'clock, Harini said, glancing at the clock. We should sleep now. We have to wake up early tomorrow. Tripura didn't move immediately. She kept looking at Harini for a moment, a small smile forming on her face. You know something? She said softly. When I look at you, it reminds me of my younger sister. Harini looked at her with curiosity. She's just like you, Tripura continued. Cute, innocent, and very caring. Whenever I feel upset, she comes and sits beside me and keeps talking until I start smiling again. She paused and looked at Harini with quiet affection. After meeting you, I don't feel like I'm missing her so much anymore. Harini's expression softened. Without saying anything, she gently placed her palm on Tripura's cheek and lightly stroked it with her finger. It was a small gesture, but full of warmth. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Sometimes, comfort doesn't need words. One evening, during outing hours, Vaishnavi took Harini to the small street-side park beside the hostel. They sat quietly on a bench, watching the trees sway gently, the children playing at a distance, and the fading orange sky painting the evening with calmness. Shall we have some snacks? Vaishnavi asked playfully. Let's go, Harini replied with a smile. Just as they were about to leave, a young man walked toward them. You're Vaishnavi, right? He asked, looking directly at her. Yes, I am. And you are. Didn't you recognize me? I'm sorry, I don't think I did. I'm Mahadev. We studied together till 8th standard. Oh my god. Mahadev? Is that really you? It's been so long. You've changed so much, I couldn't recognize you. I'm so sorry. It's all right, he laughed softly. You're from Vizag, right? What are you doing here? Did your father get transferred? No, my family is still in Vizag. I came here to pursue MCA. I'm staying in the hostel down the next lane. By the way, this is my friend, Harini. Hi, Mahadev greeted politely. Hello, Harini responded. They spoke for a few minutes, reminiscing about old school friends and forgotten memories. Harini and Vaishnavi slowly walked back toward the hostel, the evening breeze brushing against the quiet road. Their conversation was light, but both were tired after the long day. Just as they were about to enter the hostel gate, Tripura suddenly ran up to them with bright excitement sparkling in her eyes. Harini, tomorrow is my birthday, she said eagerly. We're cutting the cake at Amon's bakery. Everyone from the hostel is coming. You must come sharp at 5, okay? Harini smiled warmly. Of course. I'll definitely come. Advance happy birthday. Tripura grinned happily. I think Prakash is coming too, she added casually, though the joy on her face betrayed her excitement. Harini raised an eyebrow and teased lightly. So that explains the glow on your face. Oh, please. Nothing like that, Tripura said quickly, pretending to brush it off. Just don't forget to come. But her happiness was impossible to hide. The next evening, Amon's bakery was filled with cheerful chatter. The party wasn't extravagant, but it felt warm and lively. A few of Tripura's close friends had gathered around the decorated table. Small balloons hung from the walls, and the sweet aroma of fresh cake floated through the air. Many more happy returns of the day, everyone said together. Harini stepped forward and handed Tripura a neatly wrapped gift box. Happy birthday to you. Tripura's eyes widened with surprise. Thank you, dear, she said warmly, pulling Harini into a tight hug. Then she whispered playfully, but tell me honestly, did anyone else even bring a gift? Harini simply smiled without answering. Before the moment could continue, one of the girls suddenly turned toward the bakery entrance. Oh look, she said mischievously, nudging Tripura. Your heartbeat has arrived. Every pair of eyes turned toward the door. A young man had just stepped inside. He stood nearly 6 feet tall, broad-shouldered and well-built. Thick, curly hair framed his confident face. There was something striking about his presence, the kind that made conversations pause for a moment. Tripura's friends exchanged silent glances. Tripura is lucky, they thought. She may look simple, but she found a handsome man. The young man walked straight toward her with a confident smile. Happy birthday to my angel, Prakash said softly. He hugged Tripura warmly and placed a light kiss on her cheek. Around them, the girls exchanged stunned looks. My God. Someone whispered under their breath. One of the girls clapped her hands dramatically. Now that your hero is here, will you finally cut the cake? We're starving. Everyone burst into laughter. Soon the room filled with cheerful voices singing together. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Tripura cut the cake, smiling brightly. Without hesitation, she picked up the first piece and fed it to Prakash. The crowd cheered again. But among the laughter and celebration, Harini stood quietly at the side. Her eyes remained fixed on Prakash. There was something about his face. Something disturbingly familiar. Harini slowly pulled out her phone and looked at a photograph stored in it. Her gaze shifted back to Prakash, then again to the screen. Her brows tightened. I have seen him somewhere before, she murmured under her breath. But where? She tried to think harder, but the answer refused to surface. Just then, Vaishnavi walked over and handed her a glass of cold drink. He's very handsome, isn't he? Vaishnavi said playfully. Harini forced a faint smile. Yes, he is. But inside her chest, something felt deeply wrong. A strange uneasiness began to crawl through her mind. Her instincts whispered that something wasn't right. And then suddenly, like lightning tearing across a dark sky, a memory from 3 years ago flashed through her mind. It had happened in Chennai. Harini had been walking along a busy road with her family. The evening traffic was loud, horns echoing everywhere, people rushing in every direction. Suddenly, they noticed a huge crowd gathered ahead. Shouts filled the air. Some people were angrily beating a few men in the middle of the road while police officers struggled desperately to control the chaos. Harini's father, Prakash, looked puzzled. What is happening here? He asked one of the constables standing nearby. Why is there so much commotion? The constable wiped the sweat from his forehead and answered grimly. They are human traffickers, he said. They trap girls by pretending to love them. Later they sell them to buyers in places like Dubai and other countries. Harini felt a chill run down her spine. The constable continued speaking. These men were caught recently. Many families suffered because of them. The people beating them right now, some of them are relatives of the victims. The anger of the crowd was intense. Police officers tried their best to separate the mob from the captured criminals and restore order. Harini had only glanced at those faces briefly that day. But now, standing inside Aman's bakery, looking at Prakash laughing with Tripura, that same uneasy feeling returned. Her heart began to beat faster. Could it be possible? Was it just her imagination? Or had she truly seen this face somewhere in that terrible scene years ago? Harini's fingers tightened around the glass she was holding. Across the room, Prakash laughed loudly as Tripura fed him another piece of cake. And Harini could not shake the feeling that something dangerous had just entered their lives. "Shut your mouth." Tripura exploded suddenly. "Shut your mouth, you. How dare you speak like that about my Prakash?" Harini froze. The reaction hit her like a slap. She had expected anger, but not this kind of fury. Tripura's eyes were blazing. "Generally, I don't even like it if someone casually talks about Prakash," she continued angrily. "And here you are saying he's a human trafficker? Do you even hear what you're saying? Have you had alcohol or something? What nonsense are you talking?" Harini was still shaken, but she forced herself to speak. "Tripura, I saw him with my own eyes," she said slowly. 2 years ago, in Chennai, a crowd had surrounded him. People were beating him badly. The police were there. My father and I saw the entire incident." Tripura let out a sarcastic laugh. "And you're repeating the same story again?" she snapped. "Don't you have any common sense, Harini?" She folded her arms mockingly. "You say you saw someone 2 years ago in the middle of a chaotic crowd. 2 years ago. People forget the faces they saw 2 days ago. But you remember someone you saw 2 years ago." She shook her head dramatically. "Oh God, looks like we have a superwoman here." Harini clenched her fists but remained calm. "What I'm saying is true, Tripura," she replied quietly. "I'm absolutely certain it was him." Her voice trembled slightly. "Because of people like him. Many girls are trapped in brothel houses, crying for help. I believe he is one of them. And I don't think he truly loves you." Tripura's expression hardened further. "He's trapping you, Tripura," Harini continued urgently. "This isn't love. It's a trap. Your situation right now is vulnerable. He could be planning to sell you to Dubai or somewhere else." "Harini," Tripura shouted. "One more negative word about him," she warned, her jaw tightening, "and I will slap you with my sandal across your face." Harini inhaled slowly, trying to remain composed. Tripura continued, her voice sharp with anger. "It seems you're the one who has no common sense. If what you're saying were true, human trafficking isn't a small crime. He would be in jail by now." She pointed her finger firmly. "But instead, he's working in a multinational company as a program manager. Tell me something, if he had a criminal record, who would give him such a job?" She continued confidently. "I have spoken to his parents too. They are decent people from a respectable family." Tripura looked at Harini with clear contempt. "With this kind of thinking, I don't even understand how you managed to get admission into an MBA program." Harini let out a long sigh. "It's not me who needs to use common sense right now," she said quietly. "It's you." Tripura frowned. Harini continued patiently. "If someone wants to trap another person, don't you think they will take many precautions? You said you spoke to his parents. How do you know they are truly his parents? What proof do you have?" Tripura's face tightened. "What if they're also part of the same network?" Harini continued. "Have you thought about that possibility even once?" Tripura shook her head angrily. "Enough," she snapped. "I love him, and I'm very possessive about him. Prakash is not the kind of man you're describing." She stepped closer, staring directly into Harini's eyes. "I think I understand what is happening here." Harini looked confused. "Maybe yesterday you saw him at the bakery, and you got dazzled by his looks. Every girl in this hostel likes him. They all get attracted to him." Her voice turned cold. "I think you got attracted to him too." Harini's eyes widened. "And now I understand your plan," Tripura continued sharply. "You want to separate us so that you can get closer to him yourself." She shook her head with disgust. "Women who think like that play cheap tricks." Her voice dropped into a dangerous whisper. "Don't try those cheap tricks." A new tension had begun to grow inside Harini's mind. She sat alone on a park bench, staring at the ground. Her thoughts were racing. What is this situation? She wondered helplessly. Tripura was deeply in love with a man Harini believed to be dangerous. Yet she hadn't even given the slightest benefit of doubt to what Harini had said. What if he is saying the same sweet words to many girls? Harini thought anxiously. What if Tripura is just one among them? With his good looks and charm, it wouldn't be difficult for him to trap someone. The thought made her heart heavy. Just then, Vaishnavi walked toward the bench and sat beside her. Hey, what happened? She asked gently. Why are you sitting here so quietly? Harini remained silent. Vaishnavi sighed in frustration. You've been like this since morning, she said. Not talking to anyone. Honestly, it's getting irritating now. At least say something. Harini still didn't respond. Just then Mahadev approached them. He had noticed Vaishnavi from a distance and walked over. Hello again, he said casually. Vaishnavi looked up. Oh, hi. Mahadev noticed Harini sitting silently beside her. He glanced at Vaishnavi and asked quietly, what happened to your friend? Why is she so silent? Vaishnavi shrugged. I don't know. She's been like this since morning. I've been trying to get her to talk, but she just sits like this. Mahadev looked at Harini for a moment. Just then his eyes casually fell on the phone lying beside her. The screen lit up briefly, revealing the wallpaper, a photograph of a man in uniform. Mahadev recognized immediately that it was probably her father. But instead of saying that, he decided to lighten the mood. Looking at the phone, he said casually, By the way, your brother looks very handsome. Harini looked up in surprise. My brother? Yes, Mahadev said, pointing lightly toward the phone. The guy in the wallpaper. Is he your brother? For the first time since the morning, Harini smiled a little. No, she said, shaking her head. He's not my brother. Mahadev raised his eyebrows slightly. Oh? Then who is he? He's my father. Mahadev looked at the phone again, pretending to study the photo more carefully. Your father? Seriously? Harini nodded. How old is he? Mahadev asked with curiosity. 49. Mahadev let out a soft laugh. 49? Come on, he looks 25. Harini couldn't help laughing. That's what everyone says. Does he go to the gym regularly? Mahadev asked playfully. No, she replied. Actually, he works in the Air Force. He's a wing commander. He's always busy. Even though he has access to gym facilities, he hardly gets time for all that. Mahadev nodded thoughtfully. That's impressive. Then he must be following some secret diet. Harini laughed again, her mood slowly lifting. No, nothing like that. He doesn't have time for diets either. Hearing someone praise her father unexpectedly brightened Harini's mood. The heaviness she had been carrying since the argument with Tripura began to ease a little. After a moment, Mahadev said casually, Anyway, enough about your father. What about you? What are you doing here? I'm from Chennai, Harini replied. I came here to pursue my MBA. Oh, that's nice, Mahadev said with a small nod. All the best. Vaishnavi, who had been listening quietly until then, suddenly looked at him with curiosity. By the way, what do you do? Mahadev answered simply, I'm in the police. Vaishnavi blinked in surprise. Wait, you mean you're a police officer? Mahadev nodded. Yes, Assistant Commissioner of Police. What? Vaishnavi exclaimed, staring at him in disbelief. That's unbelievable. She paused for a moment, still looking at him as if trying to process what she had just heard. After a few seconds, a memory seemed to flash across her mind, and she suddenly laughed. Seriously, Mahadev, this is really surprising, she said. I still remember our school days. When we were kids, you barely used to pass the exams. Half the class used to tease you for that. Even some teachers used to make fun of you. She shook her head with a smile. And now look at you, an Assistant Commissioner of Police. Honestly, I didn't expect that at all. Mahadev smiled politely, but inside he wasn't entirely comfortable with the direction of the conversation. His school days were the only memories he never liked revisiting. Back then, teachers and students alike had mocked him for his poor marks. Those were memories he preferred to leave behind. But Vaishnavi unknowingly had brought them back. Still smiling faintly, Mahadev decided not to dwell on it. Time changes things, he said calmly. And it changes people too. Before the conversation could go further in that direction, he gently shifted the topic. Turning toward Harini, he asked, "By the way, what did you say your father does in the Air Force?" "He's a wing commander," Harini replied. Mahadev nodded with interest. "That's a respectable rank." The conversation gradually flowed into lighter topics again. The three of them continued talking casually for a while, about Chennai, about college life, and a few random things in between. Harini noticed something surprising. Even though she had met Mahadev only recently, there was something about the way he spoke. Calm, simple, and respectful that made her feel comfortable. For the first time since the heated argument with Tripura earlier that day, the tight knot of tension inside her chest had loosened. Without realizing it, she had begun to form a quiet but positive impression of Mahadev. The next afternoon, Harini returned from college feeling a little tired. As she entered the hostel corridor, she noticed an unusual commotion inside one of the rooms. A few girls were gathered around Tripura, who was sitting on her bed, crying uncontrollably. Some of the girls were trying to calm her down. "Hey, it's okay. Don't cry like this," one of them said softly. "Nothing has happened." "Don't think too much," another girl tried to console her. Harini slowed down when she saw the scene. Her heart skipped a beat. For a moment, a frightening thought crossed her mind. Did something happen with Prakash? Did he do something wrong? Feeling uneasy, she stepped closer. "What happened?" Harini asked carefully. "Why is she crying?" One of the girls, Shweta, turned toward her. "You know what happened?" Shweta said with irritation. "Someone called Tripura's father and told him that Tripura is roaming around with some boy, that she's having an affair with Prakash." Harini froze. Shweta continued. The person on the phone spoke very harshly. Her father got really angry. He almost believed it. Tripura wiped her tears, but didn't say anything. "Finally, we managed to convince him," Shweta said. "We told him someone must have played a prank, that there's no truth in it." Harini silently exhaled in relief. But at the same time, she didn't know how to react. Her face looked tense, and a few girls noticed it. Just then, another girl in the room spoke up. "But seriously, why would someone call her father and say such things? What business is it of theirs?" "Exactly," another girl added. "Why are people so concerned about someone else's life?" Tripura slowly lifted her head. Suddenly, a memory flashed in her mind, the heated conversation she had with Harini the previous day. A faint suspicion crept into her thoughts. Could Harini have done this? Asterisk. Tripura didn't say anything aloud, but the doubt remained in her mind. The following evening, Tripura walked toward the main road outside the hostel. A few police officers were standing near a patrol vehicle, discussing something. Mahadev was among them. Tripura hesitated for a moment and then approached him. "Sir, are you ACP Mahadev?" she asked politely. Mahadev turned toward her. "Yes." "Tell me." "My name is Tripura," she said. "I want to lodge a complaint." "What kind of complaint?" Mahadev asked. "Our hostel is in the next lane," she explained. Durga Ladies' Hostel. Mahadev nodded slightly. "Some boys come there on bikes almost every evening," she continued. "They shout the names of girls staying in the hostel and pass vulgar comments. Then they rev their bikes loudly and leave." She looked visibly uncomfortable while explaining it. "It's very embarrassing for us," she said quietly. "Could you please take strict action against them?" Mahadev listened patiently. "All right," he said. "Tell me the exact location of the hostel." "It's in the next lane," she replied. Mahadev thought for a moment. "I'll send a couple of constables there this evening." Tripura immediately shook her head. "No, sir, please don't send constables." Mahadev looked slightly surprised. "Why?" "Sometimes they just take 50 or 100 rupees and let those boys go," she said bluntly. "They don't take it seriously." She looked at him earnestly. "But if an officer like you comes and warns them, they will never dare to come again." Mahadev was about to respond, but Tripura quickly added, "Please, sir, don't say no. Just this one favor. Mahadev paused for a moment. Then he nodded. All right, he said. I'll come and look into it. That night around 8 o'clock, Mahadev arrived near the hostel in plain clothes. He stood near the street quietly, waiting. 15 minutes passed. From the second-floor balcony of the hostel, the warden had been watching him for some time. Suspicion slowly crept into her mind. Just then Tripura was passing through the corridor. Tripura, the warden called. Tripura stopped. Do you know who that man standing outside is? The warden asked. Tripura looked outside and immediately recognized Mahadev. Without hesitation, she replied, Yes, madam. He's Harini's friend. The warden frowned. He came asking about Harini, Tripura added casually. He said he wanted to meet her. The warden's expression turned serious. A few minutes later, she called Harini to her office. Harini walked in, confused. Do you know that man standing outside? The warden asked. Harini looked through the window and recognized Mahadev. Yes, madam, she replied. I know him. We met recently. He's a decent person. The warden's tone became stern. I trusted you, she said. Your father personally requested me to take care of you. And this is how you behave. Harini blinked in confusion. Madam, I don't understand what you're saying. That man has been standing outside the hostel for the past 15 minutes, the warden said sharply. He is clearly waiting for you. Harini's heart skipped. Madam, I didn't ask him to come, she said nervously. I don't know why he came either. The warden crossed her arms. If you didn't encourage him, why would he come and wait here? Harini had no answer. She simply lowered her head. Listen carefully, the warden continued. What happens outside is none of my business. But as long as you stay in this hostel, you are my responsibility. She paused for a moment. Your father strictly told me to make sure you stay away from unnecessary distractions, especially relationships. Harini felt deeply embarrassed. Outside, Mahadev waited for a while longer. The boys Tripura had complained about never showed up that night. After waiting for some time, he finally left. Inside the hostel, Harini felt a quiet frustration building inside her. Just because I spoke to him casually, he came here and now I'm being questioned like this, she thought bitterly. Her opinion about Mahadev changed slightly in that moment. Not far away, Tripura silently watched everything. A faint smile appeared on her face. You wanted to put me in trouble in front of my family, she thought while looking at Harini. Now, let's see how you protect yourself from the same situation. Later that week, one morning in the college corridor, students were moving between classes, chatting and laughing as usual. Harini was walking toward the classroom when she noticed Shweta coming from the opposite side. Shweta was dressed unusually well that day, a neatly pressed dress, light makeup, and her hair carefully arranged. Harini smiled brightly. Wow, Shweta, your dress looks amazing today. You're looking really beautiful. What's the occasion? Is it your birthday? Shweta slowed down slightly, but didn't meet her eyes. No, it's not my birthday, she replied quietly. Oh, Harini said playfully. Then is there some function at home or something special today? No, nothing like that, Shweta answered, her voice still distant. Harini narrowed her eyes jokingly. Then this special effort must be for someone, she teased lightly. I think I understand. Shweta suddenly stopped walking. Harini, please, she said stiffly. Don't start all that. I'm not in the mood for jokes today. Just let me go. She began to walk away quickly. Harini stood there, confused. Shweta had never spoken to her like that before. Something felt wrong. Harini quickly followed her. Shweta, wait a second. Shweta stopped, but didn't turn around. If I said something casually that hurt you, I'm really sorry, Harini said gently. I didn't mean anything by it. Please don't misunderstand me. Shweta slowly turned to face her. The expression on her face was not the one Harini was used to seeing. Don't talk to me, Harini, she said coldly. Honestly, I feel disgusted even looking at you. Harini froze. The words felt completely unexpected. What happened? She asked softly. Why are you speaking like this? Shweta let out a short, bitter laugh. Still pretending you don't know? Harini stared at her, confused. Don't act innocent, Shweta continued. Everyone already knows what you did. Harini's heart began to pound. What are you talking about? You're trying to push Tripura aside and get closer to Prakash, aren't you? Shweta said bluntly. That's why you called Tripura's father and told him about her relationship. The words hit Harini like a slap. For a moment, she couldn't even speak. In the beginning, I really thought you were a good person, Shweta continued, her voice filled with disappointment. Your smile, the way you spoke, you seemed so innocent. She shook her head slowly. I never imagined you were this calculating. Every word cut deeper. I hate people who think like this, Shweta said firmly. And I'm saying it openly. I'm not scared of you, and I don't need to pretend. With that, she turned and walked away without another glance. Harini stood in the corridor, unable to move. The noise of students around her continued as usual, laughter, conversations, footsteps, but everything felt strangely distant. It was as if the ground beneath her had shifted. She had never imagined that people would think this way about her. Her throat tightened. Whenever something hurt her deeply, she had one simple habit. She would look at her father's photograph. Slowly, with slightly trembling fingers, she unlocked her phone. The familiar picture appeared on the screen. For a moment, she simply stared at it. That calm, loving face felt like the only thing holding her together. And slowly, she took a quiet breath. Mahadev's police jeep was parked on one side of the road. He was standing beside it, speaking briefly on his walkie-talkie while a constable waited nearby. Just then, Harini walked down the street and noticed him. For a moment, she hesitated, then gathered courage and walked straight toward him. Hi, Mahadev. Mahadev turned toward her. Hello, Harini. For a few seconds, there was an awkward silence between them. Harini finally spoke. Mahadev, let me be a little direct with you, she said. Please don't come near my hostel like that again. Mahadev looked puzzled. What do you mean? The other evening, she continued, slightly irritated, you came in civil dress and stood near our hostel for a long time. Mahadev frowned. When did I come to your hostel? Harini was already upset. You were in the next lane near the hostel, right? Standing there for a long time. Mahadev thought for a moment. Oh, that evening. Yes, Harini replied quickly. Because of that, I got scolded by the warden. Please understand my situation. If you come like that, people misunderstand. Mahadev looked genuinely confused. But I wasn't waiting for you, he said calmly. Harini stopped. What? I came there because of a complaint, Mahadev explained. One of your hostel mates came to me. I think her name is Tripura. Tripura? Harini repeated slowly. Yes, Mahadev said. She said that some boys were coming near your hostel, shouting girls' names and passing vulgar comments. She requested me to check the situation. So I went there that evening to see if those boys would show up. He paused. I wasn't waiting for you. For a moment, Harini said nothing. Inside her mind, several things began to connect at once. Tripura's sudden complaint, Mahadev standing outside the hostel, the warden questioning her, and the words Tripura had casually told the warden. That Mahadev had come there to meet Harini. Everything flashed through her mind. Mahadev noticed her silence. Harini, he said. She didn't respond. Don't you believe me? He asked gently. You still think I came there for you? That question snapped her out of her thoughts. Oh, no, Harini said quickly. I'm sorry. Please don't mind. Without saying anything further, she turned and started walking quickly toward the hostel without even looking back. Mahadev stood there, completely confused, watching her leave. A few minutes later, Harini entered the hostel and went straight to Tripura. Tripura was sitting inside the room. Tripura, Harini said firmly. Tripura looked up. What? Harini's voice was calm, but there was anger behind it. Why did you give that complaint? She asked. Tripura frowned slightly. What complaint? The complaint about those boys passing vulgar comments, Harini said. I've been staying there for so long. I've never seen anyone doing that. Tripura didn't respond. Harini continued. And when Mahadev came there, why did you tell the warden that he came to meet me? Tripura remained silent, staring at her. Why did you say that? Harini asked again. Her voice was no longer calm. Why did you make it look like he was waiting for me? Tripura listened to Harini without interrupting. A faint, sarcastic smile slowly appeared on her face. Yes, she said calmly. I did that. Harini looked at her confused. And what gives you the right to shout at me? Tripura continued. Yes, I did it on purpose. So what? Harini took a breath and spoke carefully. Did you call my father? Tripura asked suddenly. Harini froze. Did you tell him that I'm in love with Prakash? Tripura continued, her voice sharper now. Did you speak about my personal life with him? Harini hesitated. No, I didn't, she said weakly. Tripura leaned closer and stared straight into her eyes. I'm asking you clearly. Did you call him or not? Harini looked down for a moment. Then slowly she spoke. Yes, I called him. Tripura went silent for a second. Then she gave a short, bitter laugh. The other day, she said, I trusted you. I shared everything with you. I told you about Prakash. She shook her head slowly. In my life, I never trusted anyone the way I trusted you. And this is how you maintain that trust. Harini tried to speak. Tripura listened. But Tripura continued, her voice filled with hurt. I spoke to you like a friend. I believed you. And behind my back, you called my father. Harini gathered herself. Yes, I did it, she said firmly. And I did it deliberately. Tripura looked at her sharply. My plan was simple, Harini continued. I thought if your father came to know about this, he might take some action to protect you. She paused. He might even take you away from here and keep you with him. Tripura's expression hardened. I thought that would save you from Prakash, Harini added quietly. Because no matter how much I tried to talk to you, you never listened. The moment I mentioned his name, you would shut me down. Tripura stared at her with disbelief. Why did you have to do that? She asked coldly. Then she shook her head. Don't act innocent, Harini. Don't think I'm a fool. Her voice grew sharper. Every girl in this hostel admires Prakash. Anyone would. He's handsome. He's charming. Of course, he can win anyone's heart. She paused. But they know their limits. Her eyes narrowed. I don't understand what kind of dangerous mind you have. Harini frowned. You thought if I was removed from the scene, you could get close to him. That's not true, Harini said immediately. Tripura ignored her. You think that because you are beautiful, he will fall for you, she continued. Maybe I look average. But Prakash loves me sincerely. She spoke with absolute confidence. He doesn't love me for my looks. He loves my heart. Harini's patience finally broke. What does beauty have to do with this? She asked, clearly irritated now. And for your information, she continued firmly, I have absolutely no interest in that man. Tripura gave a mocking smile. Harini continued, her voice tense. If I wanted to win someone, I wouldn't need cheap tricks. Then she looked straight at Tripura. You have to listen to me for once. Tripura folded her arms. There are many women in different countries today who ended up living as prostitutes because of that same Prakash. Tripura's expression changed instantly. I'm telling you this because I worry about you, Harini continued. I keep thinking about it all the time. But whenever I try to warn you, you shut me down. She took a breath. You trust him blindly. Her final words came out heavy. If you continue trusting him like this, you may also end up like those women, forced to live a life like that. For a second, there was complete silence. Then Tripura exploded. Shut up. Her voice echoed through the corridor. You bloody woman. Harini stood frozen. How dare you say that about me? Tripura shouted. How dare you? Her voice became louder and angrier with every word. You characterless woman. I'll cut off your tongue if you speak like that again. The shouting attracted the attention of the girls in the hostel. One by one they gathered near the doorway, watching. Tripura pointed angrily at Harini. You call me a prostitute, she shouted. Her voice trembled with rage. You roam around with that police officer, and now you want the professor's attention too. She laughed bitterly. And still you think you are a good woman, and I'm the prostitute? Harini was completely shaken. She couldn't even respond. Just then Shweta rushed in. "What's happening here?" she asked. Tripura immediately pointed at Harini. "She called me a prostitute," she said angrily. Shweta looked shocked. "What?" she said, turning to Harini. "Did you say that?" Before Harini could answer, Tripura lunged forward and tried to hit her. Her hand almost landed on Harini's shoulder. Shweta quickly stepped in and pushed Tripura back. "Tripura, stop." Tripura tried to move forward again. "You bloody woman," she shouted at Harini. "Don't pretend like you're crying. I know your drama. If you act like that again, I'll slap you with my sandal." Harini stood there, trembling, tears rolling down her cheeks. Shweta stepped between them again. "Tripura, step back," she said firmly. "You are not hitting anyone." Then she turned toward Harini. "Harini, did you say those words to her?" Harini shook her head, crying now. "I swear on God." "I never called her that," she said in a shaken voice. Shweta sighed. "Whatever you meant, the way this has turned out is very bad." She looked around at the girls watching. "Just apologize and end this here." Several girls nodded. "Yes, just say sorry," someone said. Harini looked around helplessly. No one spoke in her support. With no other choice, she slowly said, "I'm sorry." Shweta nodded. "That's enough. Let's end this matter here." The girls slowly began to leave. Harini was standing alone on the hostel terrace, staring at the sky. Her mind kept going back to the ugly argument that had happened earlier with Tripura. Just then Vaishnavi came up the stairs. "Harini, what are you doing here in this heat?" she asked. Harini turned. "Nothing, Vaishnavi. Just forget it," she said. "It's about Tripura. Let it go." Vaishnavi walked closer and looked at her carefully. "Forget it," she said. "Harini, the entire hostel is talking about your fight with Tripura. What actually happened? I'm not understanding anything." Harini stayed silent for a moment. Then she slowly began explaining everything about Prakash, the doubts she had about him, the disturbing things she had come to know, the phone call she made to Tripura's father, and the confrontation that followed in the hostel room. Vaishnavi listened without interrupting. When Harini finished, Vaishnavi looked genuinely shocked. "My God, Harini," she said. "You kept all this to yourself all these days? You didn't even think of sharing it with me. If you had told me earlier, we could have thought about it together." Then she paused and asked the question that was bothering her the most. "But tell me honestly, everything you said about that Prakash, is it really true? Is he really that kind of person?" Harini nodded slowly. "Yes," she said. "I'm not guessing. I've seen it myself. The police once arrested him. I saw it with my own eyes." Vaishnavi was silent for a few seconds. "Forget about him for a moment," she finally said. "What I really don't understand is this. Why is Tripura trusting him so blindly?" Harini sighed. "That's exactly what I don't understand either." Vaishnavi looked at the time. "All right," she said. "We'll think about this later. The mess will close soon. Let's go." Both of them walked down the stairs and left the terrace. At the same time, in her room, Tripura's phone rang. "Hello." Tripura, her father's voice came from the other side. At the same time, inside her room, Tripura's phone rang. "Hello." Tripura, her father's warm voice came from the other side. "I have some good news." "Yes, Dad, tell me." "You remember Vijay, right?" he asked. "Our distant relative. Technically, he's your cousin." Tripura stayed quiet. "He saw you at the family function," her father continued happily. "And he liked you very much." Tripura's grip tightened slightly around the phone. "Today his parents came to our house with a marriage proposal." Her father sounded genuinely pleased. "The boy is wonderful, Tripura. A software engineer in a big company. Very decent, very well-mannered. I really think he's like gold, a very good boy." Tripura listened silently. "He's leaving for America tomorrow for work," her father continued. "He'll be back after 3 months. So we thought once he returns, we'll arrange the engagement. I just wanted to inform you." There was a pause. Finally, Tripura spoke. "Okay, Dad, as you wish." She ended the call. For a few seconds, she sat there silently, staring at the phone in her hand. Then she immediately dialed another number. Prakash answered. Hello. Can you meet me this evening? Tripura asked. Sure, but why suddenly? He asked curiously. Tripura's voice turned serious. The thing I was always afraid of has happened. What happened? My family fixed a marriage proposal for me, she said. Dad called this morning and told me. Prakash paused. What did you say to them? He asked. What could I say? Tripura replied. If I tell my father that I love you, he'll come here immediately, drag me home, and force me into marriage. So I simply told him, it's his decision. Prakash thought for a moment. So what do we do now? He asked. Tripura answered without hesitation. We get married tomorrow. Prakash was shocked. Tomorrow? Are you serious? Yes, she said firmly. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, at the Durga temple. Prakash hesitated. What about your parents? He asked. Tripura replied with complete determination. I can live without them, but I cannot live without you. Prakash slowly nodded. All right, he said. After the wedding, we'll disappear for a while. I have a friend in Goa. We can stay at his place until things calm down. Later we'll decide what to do next. Tripura agreed instantly. Wherever you say, I'll come. But inside his mind, Prakash was thinking something very different. The 10 lakhs I've been waiting for are finally coming into my hands. This is the perfect moment. I just need to be careful. Even a small mistake could ruin my entire plan. Tripura stood up. I should leave now, she said. If I get late, the hostel gate will close. Then she reminded him one last time. Tomorrow, sharp at 7, at the temple. And with that, she ended the call and walked away.